So, that takes care of Stone Hill. And look, Norks! Give me orbs! Here are the orbs. As you can see, they pile around your head. Okay, maybe you do need more. I think you might need 20 of them in order to do it. But since we took care of that first level, let's go to another level. I'm going to go over... I don't know. I guess I'm going to go over this way. To Dark Hollow. So, fly through. And so far, we only have 300 treasure. But welcome to Dark Hollow. Now, Dark Hollow, based on my original Let's Play... these guys have metal shields, so they are immune to fire, because, you know, metal is immune to fire. It's immune to heat. God dang it. But I remember this stage from my first ever playthrough, and I remember certain things I talked about for it. One of them I'm going to be bringing up momentarily, but you might have noticed that big guy right there. Big guys like that Nork cannot be charged because they are too fat. So what you have to do is use your Flame Breath. So this game really compensates for enemies that are immune to certain attacks, but are weak to the others. So let's free our first dragon here, Albin.
Oh, it's you. I wasn't sure if you'd escape those annoying little creatures. Of course, they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
Good to know. So, that takes care of that dragon. So, we have our chest right there, so we're going to be coming through the beginning again. Oh, great. Look at all the Norks. Die. Die, all the Norks. Kill the Norks. Death to all Norks. Die. I think there's one more, isn't there? Nope. Okay, there isn't. So, around this area, I remember 2 years ago, it was the first time I was doing my Let's Play. And around this time, I was saying what I was going to be, you know, majoring in and minoring in. Back then, it was electrical engineering and then a minor in Japanese. 2 years later, god dang, has it taken a complete change from what it was before. My new minor will be said after Darius is freed.
Big enemies like this Gnorc with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
I've already explained this. So, my new minor is actually astronomy, of all things, and my major has been changed to Japanese, so that is a pretty big shift based in 2 years, which is what they go with whenever they say about college. Never go really in with a predetermined path, because chances are it's going to change. And by God, it changed for me quite a bit. I mean, I enjoy Japanese, and I'm going to be planning to study abroad within the next year and a half, so it's still a fun thing to do, but really different from what I started off with, which was electrical engineering. Now, the Japanese didn't really change as much because that was my minor. Now I just have it changed to my major. So, let's go down this way now and break this, because why not? And, oh, he's got, ow! Ah, the bad belly bounce that doesn't even attack me. Oh, that's the roll. I'm so used to using L1 and R1 to change the camera. So in these giant Norks, their only weakness is their butts, because, you know, these Norks decided, I'm going to be immune from the front. Never mind the fact the back. These Norks don't think these things through. Then again, they're nothing more than treasure, so what do I know? Well, I definitely know more than they do, that's for sure. So, here's the key for this area. And I almost fell into that water right there. Spyro cannot swim in this game, so keep that in mind. In later Spyro games, Spyro is able to swim. In this game, it's stated that dragons can't swim. So anytime you touch anything that looks like water or liquids of any type, you will take damage. So keep that in mind. But let us now free Oswin.
Psst, Spyro. Want to know a secret?
Yes.
Use the triangle button when you want to zoom in and look around. Oh, your secret's safe with me.
Oh, that sounds like a wonderful secret. Too bad, you know, that's not really used in this game. Yes, I know I could have mentioned it, but this is what I mean. You just do a first-person look. Well, not even first-person. You just do a little look around. It's not used in this game at all, because in later games, it is changed to where you can have a projectile, and you can use that to have a targeting reticle. In this game, it's not used, though, so it's nice to see that some of the mechanics were, you know, refined later on, but early on, some of them are useless, like this roll. It's still cute, but it's kind of useless. Alright, so let us now open up the chest. Boom. Now, one thing I have noticed that the digital port of this game does is it tends to have slowdown at times, and especially in musical cases. I know a few levels off the top of my head that really do that, but I think that's something mainly with the Spyro the Dragon games in general on the digital releases, because I never have slowdown on the discs. But if we check our inventory right now, we have all 3 dragons and 100 out of 100 gems for Dark Hollow. So let's get the heck out of here. Now, if you ever want to return back to the home world at any time you want, you don't need to go to these exit portals. You can obviously exit the level by just hitting the start button. It'll still play this, transition screen, so it doesn't really matter. So we've already freed 11 dragons, so let's go off to the next stage, which is going to be I believe it is Town Center? I really am showing how much I've played, Spyro 1 as much, especially based on my first LP. Town Square. Now, in Town Square, we're going to have another thief to deal with. Ooh, boy. Thieves are just plain annoying in this game, believe me. I hate them, and it's mainly because of the laugh. And what made me hate the laugh was Spyro 3, because of how many dragon eggs I had to get because of that. So, I'm going to use this time to talk about the soundtrack in this game. The soundtrack is actually composed by a well-known, person, I believe. The person who composed this soundtrack was Stuart Copeland, the ex-drummer of The Police. And how he actually composed the music in this game is something that I find some developers do and some developers don't do. I'll explain more about it first, but we're going to get interrupted by Niles here.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the L2 and R2 buttons to get a good look.
That's basically telling you about the camera. So how did Stuart Copeland end up designing the music for this? What Stuart Copeland did was, allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but through what I've read, that is how it is. Stuart Copeland basically played through these levels himself first without music, and then composed music arranged around it that would best fit the stages. Which is why I will have to say the Spyro the Dragon series has music that really fits the levels for it. I really enjoy it. It's just very calming. But here we have a new type of chest that actually is only in the first Spyro the Dragon game. If you flame or charge it, the gem will come up and you just have to grab it and it will explode. That's how you collect it. That chest is not appeared in other Spyro the Dragon games, unless it's appeared in A Hero's Tale, which I still am doing a playthrough on the side for myself, because I actually ended up getting it. But let's get delving. Devlin.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Oh, did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing X at the very top of your jump?
It's kind of self-explanatory. But yeah, if you jump at the highest point, then you will be able to... Ouch! I hate these bulls. I usually always end up getting hit by these bulls, and I hate them because of it. So pretty much at the top of your jump, if you end up hitting the X button, you can get the longest glide. That's what you're going to have to take advantage of in order to get to certain areas. Now, I believe there's another bull right there. Oh, look at all the bulls. The running of the bulls. Oh, don't worry, Norky. I'll save you. There, I saved you from the bull. Now I kill you myself. Ah, yes. Spyro, murderer extraordinaire. Just like Kirby. And Kirby beats them. Sick monster. So, let us grab these right here. And that is actually, I believe, our first gold gem, too, in that one, which gives us 10. And let us go and rescue this dragon right here. Alvar. They were really creative.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run! Run! I'm getting a little winded.
You gonna be okay there, man? You need a glass of water? I hope he teleported to go and get a glass of water, because he kind of sounded winded right there. So, let's fly over this way, and we can see where that pesky thief is. Thieves will always run in certain areas and through a certain set path, and they are programmed to, if you go at them from the front, run in the opposite direction of you. So keep that in mind. Thieves will change their directions depending on where you are. So I need to watch out, and I need to start using L2 and R2 for the camera, because the camera was changed to L1 and R1 in the later games, but since that's, relegated to the role I wouldn't be surprised if I end up rolling myself to death. That would actually be kind of sad in hindsight. I rolled myself to death. Why would I do that? It'd be a terrible idea. Right, so go back here. Check every nook and cranny for treasure, because usually a lot of times when you end up missing a treasure, you end up missing it and it sucks. In later games, when it comes to treasure hunting, there's an ability Sparks gets where if you hold all 4 buttons, L1, L2, and R1 and R2, you will actually end up getting a pointer where Sparks will point out where the treasure is. It's not in the first game, unfortunately, but it's in later ones, and dang it, I ended up screwing up royally. So I'm going to cut back to this area. Actually, no, I don't need to. These levels are rather short. That's really how these Spyro the Dragon games are. It wasn't really until the 3rd game in which it ended up getting, a lot larger, I believe, in terms of level design. Now, this is still the first world, so these are going to be the shortest of the worlds, but we're going to have worlds later on in which we're going to have pretty long levels, actually. I can think of a few of them off the top of my head right now that really stick out in my mind, that's for sure. But in the meantime, let's fly back over this way because we need to get that last dragon and the remaining gems, and I almost ended up going to my death off the edge because I am still not used to the fact that I have a weird slide when it comes to charging. I never understood why I have a weird slide when it comes to, charging. It's just so weird to have that. Right, so there's a bull right there, and we have this little fan right here. This is something else that actually doesn't come back in the series. Keep breathing fire on it, and it will explode into a gem. So, let us grab these, and these should be the remaining gems, unless I missed one somewhere, which sucks usually, and I think I did miss one. No, I did not. So that's 200 out of 200, and here's the last dragon. Thor. Oh, manly voice, right?
Thank you for releasing me.
Son, I am disappointed in your voice. But there we go. That takes care of this place, because if we hit the start button, as you can see, we have the dragon egg here, as well as all 4 dragons. So, let us head off back to the home world, to where all we have to do now is one last world before we take on the boss of this realm. And that is going to be something that ends up, being a staple in the original Spyro the Dragon games, but is taken out of... Well, no, actually, it continues. Actually, through all of these Spyro games, except for the handheld ones, to my knowledge. Of course, out of all Spyro games, I'm probably the least versed in the handheld exclusive ones. But other than that, we have to go and open up the speedway again, which I didn't realize reset. That's stupid. So yes, we're going to be going to a speedway. In this case, it is called Sunny Flight. There is one of these stages in every single one of these worlds, I believe, and pretty much these are some of the more difficult ones in the game. These are actually where most of the difficulty for the game comes from. So we have a time limit, and we have to end up destroying whatever it is that is around here. So in this case, we have 2 barrels. So let's fly around. If we run out of time, we end up losing. We don't lose a life when we do this, and however many we end up breaking, we will gain time based on it. Depending on what it is, though, depends on how much time we can get. We can get between 1, 2, or 3 seconds. In this case, we have 3 seconds. So, now we're going to take out these Nork planes. Oh, poor Norks. Poor kill count for these Norks, seriously. Seriously, I feel kind of bad for these Norks, but at the same time, they're treasure. So, depending on how well you do this, determines how much treasure you end up getting for this. Every single set of enemies will give you 60 gems. So, now let's fly through these rings right here. These rings are very spaced out apart. In fact, I think I did this in complete reverse. Yes, I did, so that's not good. So I wasted a few seconds. That's one of the problems that you don't want to do in some of these speedways, because later on, it gets down to the millisecond when it comes to doing these speedways, and it is difficult. In later games, they ended up adding secret missions into these, but in the first Spyro game, it is just flying through and doing all of the challenges in these flights. You just need to get through with all the time, and once you do that, you will be golden. Which means now we only need one more thing, which should be inside here. Doot. And one thing I always notice is that inside these places in particular is where I will encounter probably the most slowdown. But here we are at the end, so the last chest, boom. And Spyro did a little victory dance. the 4 items end up going together and doing a little jig themselves. And as you can see, we get 300 gems for all in total. So we have records that we can set, and you can do it as many times as you want. You don't gain anything for it because this Spyro game actually does not have skill points. This was the first of the games, so obviously they were still getting things new. In fact, I believe before this, Insomniac really only had one game out, and I believe that was Disruptor for the PlayStation 1, which was an FPS, which it was fun because I have actually played it, but it's not something I really would go back to play. If I think Insomniac, I think Spyro the Dragon, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance, Sunset Overdrive, really want that game. But now that we've done all those worlds, we have access to the boss of this place, Toasty. Toasty. Actually, that does make me hungry because I've not really eaten anything at all. Ugh. So, this is the boss realm for this. Boss realms usually do not have more than 1 dragon inside them and usually have about 100 gem. This one has probably one of the more annoying enemies, the dogs. The dogs, if you flame them once, they will instantly get up and try to ground pound you. You can roll out of the way for them, but watch out for them. They're actually really easy to get hit by, I have to say. Out of all enemies in the game, they're actually probably one of the easiest ones to get hit by. So this is where actually the roll comes in handy. Whee! Oh, I didn't do it in time. And there we go. So, just so you know, things that don't count on the death count are the actual enemies that do not look like Norks. If they look like a Nork, they're getting murdered on that count. Ah, crud. As you can see, the hitbox for these guys is pretty big, so you just gotta watch out. I just hate these dogs, really. Right? And what you also have to watch out for is hit one enemy, and you might end up startling a dog. Oh, there we go. That takes care of him, and takes care of you. Alright, so it's pretty linear. We're just going straight to the boss. Out of the way, and die doggy. And bye-bye. Those guys will whack you with their sticks if you get too close, so watch out. Whoop. And there we go. So we're already at the end of the stage, and we're already pretty much at the first, world's end. It's a very short game, I have to say, for the first Spyro game. Not that it's bad. If you get too close to the dogs, it also sets them off. Okay, that was weird. I ended up going behind him. Now I don't have any health at all, though, so now I can show off that. As you can see, the gem, even though I'm a little bit close to it, I still somewhat have to, I still have to pretty much get on top of it. It's really more noticeable in the later games when it comes with sparks when you don't have them, because you have to go directly over the gems in order to get them, and it's just annoying. Hopefully I don't die here. That would suck. Actually, dying in this game in general would suck. So as you can see, the gem didn't come straight to me, but here is the dragon for this place. Nevin. God dang, where am I adding letters?
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. This boss has many tricks up his sleeve.
And by that you mean he's gonna run away from me because I can breathe fire? The bosses in this game, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you right now, are probably the most pathetic in the entire series. If you thought Spyro 2, Crypto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon had pretty easy bosses, these ones are even more pathetic. Heck, one of his most devious henchmen actually just revealed himself in there. He's a sheep! He's a sheep! He's a goddamn sheep! That Nasty Nork won't even, give us a proper enemy. He gives us a sheep. Right. There we go. Kill those two. Now, you gotta watch out for Toasty here, because he will hit you with his scythe, but once he gets hit again, if you get too close to him, he will kick you with his stilts, because that is all this enemy is. It's a sheep on stilts. Oh. Ah, crud. I didn't hit the right button in time. So, there's my first death. These count as checkpoints right here, so I guess I was wrong about that earlier. I hate these dogs, and now that we've gotten the gems for them, remember, if you hit them one time, every time you hit them again, it will end up just, giving you one of the orbs. Ow! Oh, come on, I was out of that. Alright, and now Toasty runs away from me. Run, Toasty, run! Right. Right, and get over here, Toasty. Ow! I got hit by Toasty! I should be ashamed of myself. I got hit by Toasty. Oh well, but that takes care of the grueling boss of the Artisan Homeworld, Toasty. And with that, we have all of the worlds done with the Artisan Homeworld. So, let's head back and show off our glamorous 1,000 gems, or total treasure. And let's go and murder some sheep, because I ended up getting hit by Toasty. Oh, so pathetic. I got hit by Toasty. Ugh, next thing you know, you're gonna tell me I'm getting hit by the other bosses, too. Oh, well. But now let's go to Marco, because remember, we only needed to free 10 dragons in order to get to the next area to prove our worth to Marco. We have 16. Is this good enough for you, Marco? Am I the hero for you now? Well done, Spyro. I didn't think you could do it. What a prick. You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like. So yes, we can go to different worlds here, or we can stay here if we want, but we're going to be going to the Peacekeeper's world. And we're going on a balloon ride, because, you know, Spyro can't fly for long distances. Can only glide. Poor Spyro. Stuck to just flying in a balloon.